Right, we're on.
Welcome back to sunny Tasmania.
On sunny
You're not awake yet.
No, I'm
Sunday
not.
morning.
Sunday morning at, again, keep looking at the whip strap.
10:14.
10:14, 12th of February.
I've been up for hours. You've only just gotten up.
Okay, I can tell you.
What time did you get home? 2 o'clock was when I...
Well, thank you to the data provided by the technology on my wrist.
Does that track where you go as well?
No, this one tracks where you go. This one just tells you what I'm about to tell you is how much sleep I've had.
I can tell you as well because I've got a Fitbit. Woo.
So let's review how much sleep we've had. I've had 6 hours and 22 minutes sleep, and I began sleeping at 02:45.
I've had 6 hours and 39 minutes, and I began at 10:43.
Right, and you still got you still had that little, really only 6 hours something.
Yeah, I said I'm better with 6, 7 or 8 hours.
That's the thing, that it's bizarre on the Fitbit where it's talking about you've had really good sleep and all the rest of it, and I look at it and it's like, well, two things there. Not Fitbit, Whoop. One, I feel like shit, and two, you're telling me I've only had 6 and a bit hours sleep.
Does yours break it down like the Fitbit does? Like
Yeah.
Mine says, REM, light, deep, bloody blah.
Yeah, there's all of that there. But what it's more interested in is efficiency, and it's also measuring strain, and then saying for how much strain you've done, you've had enough sleep to cover the strain. But for whatever reason, again, is it older science? But it's like, at least a good 8 hours.
Again, I think that's old.
Yeah, but
I'm.
Well, empirical evidence is suggesting I both look and feel like shit when I haven't had 8 or 9 hours sleep.
Every person's different though, and
Yes.
the older you get, the less sleep you function on.
This is true.
I think that's what the readiness score thing is in the Fitbit, which is like recovery from including everything, recovery from if you did any exercise the day before and how much sleep you've had and blah blah blah. So mine is a score 66, it says, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, the higher the better. I think it's out of 100. Hang on, I'll just check on my tea.
Again,
In my very nice kettle.
that is how you measure wealth, ladies and gentlemen. How much have you spent on your kettle? And when it's more than a monkey, well, that's a fair bit. And for those who don't know, a monkey in gambling speak is $500.
It's a lovely kettle. It's an investment.
It's an investment kettle, which we've covered in one of the podcasts.
We've already mentioned this. So.
Right. Okay. However, as I dig deeper into this fascinating discussion of body telemetry, it's only said my recovery is 52%. So.
There you go.
But then it says normal recovery. I'm going, oh, really? Okay. Anyway.
I'm just going to make my tea on camera.
Am I getting one?
Oh, did you want one?
Yeah, I'm just about done. Have coffee.
Okay.
So today, for my ridiculous crash diet, today is the day where I don't really call it a cheat day, but a normal day. So on Sunday, which sadly it's a bit too early, but I was actually going to be on camera with a glass of wine, so Doc Day drinking can finally live up to its name. But no, it's a bit early. But yes, so today, despite the rest of the week being a ridiculous crash diet, today I am actually going to have a normal lunch, a normal dinner.
Yeah, just eat normally.
A couple of glasses of wine. So what would under normal circumstances go, oh, I've been really good. I didn't drink 15 glasses of wine and eat a packet of lollies. And
that's why we're making pizzas today.
yes, so we're going to go Italian.
Oh, I've got a bug in my tea.
Protein.
Where did he go? I've lost him. Okay, he's in there somewhere.
I'm sure he's flavourful.
I'll find him.
You'll find him.
But yeah, so I managed to go... But I've already been up and had a walk, and I managed to go to the shops and not get you exactly what you wanted for your... Oh, there he is. Fuck, I've lost him again. No, is it? I think it's just... No, it's a tea leaf. It's all good. I thought it was an ant. Cool. As you were.
This is terrible. And to think we said, oh, let's not talk too much. We'll go up there and get on... It sounds like I've been yelling all night, or I've got a bit of a...
Don't know, you're going to tell me what the bar was like last night.
Oh, well, bar update news. Maybe that becomes a regular Sunday segment, so we can talk about the 2 days together. Friday, nothing happened because I didn't even go in.
Dead as a doornail.
It was as dead as a doornail. Party in the Paddock was on this weekend. So
Still
it's another
going.
festival, which we didn't think would be particularly our demographic, and it's not, because all the other bars and clubs and things that are typically geared towards
that's
the young pretty things were closed. So again, that's a whole rant, which I'm of two minds about. Again, being a hideous free market capitalist, it's like, well, if you want to do if you're doing festivals and things, well, the other, the people, the existing players in the market don't own the market, so pardon me.
You're talking about the fact that they put on these festivals and they draw the only tiny market
crowd
that we have away from the city. Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. So it's like they wonder, why is the CBD dead and all the rest of it. They continually do these festivals, and they're at, like, that one's at Carrick, which is, like
miles away.
Yeah, half an hour, a good solid half an hour drive away. Or the other one they did, I can't remember which one they had over at, like, at the university grounds, whatever you call it, like the Aurora Stadium or whatever it's called this week.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of them. Another one of them, I can't remember. Then they do the ones in town, which are okay.
Mona is next week.
Yeah, so they keep doing these festivals that just suck all the people out of town, and then they sit around and wonder, why is no one in town? It's like...
And I was going to say that we're fortunate enough that we're in a position that it just shits us. Like, it doesn't...
It's just annoying.
Yeah, like, we don't have to make
money.
So...
Which we haven't really discussed the bar for that here, I don't
But I was going to say, the other bars, they need to make rent. Like, we pay rent and stuff, but...
To ourselves.
Yeah, so, again, we've got a really good balance sheet. The other fucking guys don't. So, Baker's was closed, but they went to Party in Paddock. But I'm assuming...
As themselves, as a commercial concern, like they set up
I'm not sure.
A tent.
I was going to say, but you have to rent your tent.
Yeah. Then you're paying double bubble on your rent.
Same as what they did at New Year's for that beer fest thing.
Yeah, that's another one. So New Year's, like that, because
in town.
I think our thing, again, bless them. I think our New Year's was okay. Financially, I can't remember. Don't bother looking it up. But let's say, for argument's sake, it was okay.
Dead,
Christmas Eve,
New Year's is fine.
Never opening again.
No.
But I think the year before New Year's was shit because of the festivals and things they have on.
Yeah. I think that was that might have been 2 years ago, and I think that was the first year that they tried the beer fest, because the beer fest people are not from here. So the beer fest, because I follow most of it on socials, the beer fest people, that's what they do for a living. They organise it in Perth, WA.
Oh, right.
They organise it in Geelong. They organise it in Launceston. So that's their moneymaker for the year.
Well, what I was going to say with all of these festivals that gives me the shits, and why the free market capitalist in me goes, is that it's not free market capitalism. I mean, they're all, like, so many of them get grants and...
They're subsidised.
Yeah, and subsidies and all these sorts of things, and then they do all that, and then you wonder why the local shopkeepers get pissy, Because that's the other thing too, which I've already mentioned on here, I think. There's just no tourism in the north of this state. I don't know where they are or what they're doing. Like, people say, I see evidence of people saying that they come here and all the rest of it, but sure as shit, I don't see them in Launceston. Or do they get off the boat at Devonport, they drive straight down to Launceston, they go straight to go and have a look at the gorge, go, oh yeah, that's nice, and then they go, right, now get in the car, kids, we're going to fuck off to Hobart.
About to say,
they think Tasmania's Hobart.
That too, but like, I've got friends and family and things that come to Tassie. I wouldn't say friends and family now, because they know we're here, so it's slightly different. But friends of friends, and I watch them on Facebook, and they come to Lonnie, they go to a nice restaurant,
and that's it.
And they might have a look at the gorge, and then they go. Like, there's nothing else drawing them here. Like, there's no shopping. There's there's natural stuff. So you go to the gorge.
I kind of had this conversation last night.
Walk along the river
with someone else, and they said they all fuck off down to, which annoys me greatly, Derby. To go and do mountain biking bullshit, and they think it's all down there, because again, it's stuff that is well advertised or well discussed, so they've heard, we should have a look at that.
Yeah.
But
again, Launceston's a shithole.
It is and it isn't. Well, where it is a shithole, where you pick it. Let me say something positive about Launceston first. And let's say something negative.
It's got 5 good restaurants that would be known in Sydney, and the rest of it, meh.
That's the bad bit. Let me say the good bit. Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a good thing.
No, really isn't. The gorge is stunning, and it's marvellous, and it's beautiful, and it's unknown.
I don't think so.
It was originally.
Yeah, you might be right.
No, I am right. I'm going to tell you. Remember that I've told you this story, and now I'll tell the world. So when I first moved down here, January 1, 2003, that was when I first moved down here, and we'd already been to Launceston twice. Once briefly and decided as a part of a Tasmanian holiday and decided I hated it. So maybe,
damn it,
there's the answer. Maybe I need to think on that and reflect and remember
first impressions.
Yeah, why I didn't spend much time in Launceston. But yeah, came down here once on holiday in Tassie with kind of a view of maybe like what's going on around here and having a look around, and spent time in Lonnie, a little bit of time in Devonport, a little bit of time in Hobart, and sort of looking around. And and me being me, where I was worse back then, I go on holiday, there's always an ulterior motive, and the ulterior motive is, what's, real estate, what's going on down here? And, anyway, so that was the first trip. The second trip was actually coming down to buy in Launceston, and we're probably here for 3 or 4 days. Managed to buy a house, and then went back. Anyway, so when we moved down, January 1, 2003, so we'd already done that. And then there was one day when we sort of settled in, a couple of weeks later when we sort of settled in.
Are you getting to a point?
Yep, I am. We went for a walk. Let's go for a walk and have a look at where we live now. And we sort of walked from Invermay, which is an inner suburb in inverted commas, where I've got a house, into town, and found City Park.
Lovely.
And went, oh, isn't this lovely? Very traditional. Lonnie has a lot of parks, it's a big positive. Very traditional English garden, beautiful big conservatory in the middle.
Good plants, monkeys.
And then
randomly.
Let me tell the story.
Sorry.
And then because you're ruining it. All we do is ruin things. And then inexplicably Japanese snow monkeys. You walk around the corner and you go, what the fuck? Okay, what's going on here? Okay. All right. So this is January. This is probably first week or something in January, which is a point in a second. So we go to the park. So there's monkeys. Long story short, some gift from a Japanese businessman in the fucking 60s or something, and now they've got this colony of Japanese snow monkeys. So if you go to and they're in a wonderful enclosure, and all things considered, they're on a pretty good wicket considering, and not where none of us are particularly great fans of zoos and all the rest of it, but that's what it is. They're making good on something that happened 50 or 60 years ago. Right, so we've had this, yes, I can see you glazing over. So we had this walk into the thing, and then we continued to walk into town, and it was empty. Town was utterly empty, and this was like, I think, a Saturday. You could run a shotgun up Brisbane Street and you wouldn't hit anything. And we were going, oh, all right. So we continued to walk, and we said, oh, what's over here? And went down the waterfront, and the waterfront at Lonnie is also really nice.
Beautiful. Marina Foreshore.
Marina Foreshore, 3 rivers meet, the Tamar, the South Eskin, the North Eskin. It's really, really nice. And we go, oh, this is really nice. Oh, look, that old bridge over there. And we wander over, and then we go, oh, yeah, here's a sign. Oh, Launceston Gorge. Oh, what's this? Okay, and we wander down there, and it's a bit of a walk, and you walk in there, and it's a very nice walk, and there's stops along the way, and you go, oh, this is lovely. And we go, okay, I can see it's a gorge and all the rest of it. And then it opens up. And there's, on the right-hand side, there's all of this Victorian architecture done by women who went on a grand tour in the 19th century. There's peacocks on the lawn. There's a restaurant over there. There's one of the longest chairlifts in the world. And there was back then...
bridge.
Yep, there's a suspension bridge on the end. And then down, looking down, was thousands and thousands and thousands of people, all sunbaking and frolicking. And there's a pool, like there's an Olympic pool, and then there's a natural pool, and all the rest of it.
Restaurants.
Well, fuck me dead. And we didn't know anything about it at all until we got there, and we went, oh shit. So there's all the positives. So Lonnie, the Launceston itself has excellent architecture. It's like if you have any background in architecture, it's excellent.
I've done a walking tour.
if it's small, you can get around it pretty quick. The parks, with the exception of Princess Park that we've already mentioned, have been ruined by the fucking homeless, but and had been independently mentioned by other people. That same, so it's clearly getting on everybody's tits now.
Yeah.
But it's the undercurrent is starting to bubble, and the natives are getting restless on that one, because after we did that podcast, later in the day, somebody else completely independently, obviously hadn't watched our podcast because we've only got 4 subscribers, but it sort of mentioned, I don't like town anymore. Well, no, the fucking homeless, and then started talking about it. So anyway, really good architecture, really, really good parks, breathtaking natural beauty, really nice rivers. No, it's not a river; it's an estuary. But anyway, so you don't want to eat out of it or swim in it down this end of it because it's a bit brackish. But anyway,
I saw a sign for that this morning when I was walking.
Really nice, and they're continually developing it. So it's good. So anyway, there are all the positives for Launceston. The negatives: there's nothing fucking here. Like they haven't. So there's no shop, because that's what they don't realise, these people from the past that run this joint. Either it's a mixture of people from the past and people with out of touch, ridiculous, woke bullshit ideas, because they think about, everybody's here for the natural beauty. No, they're not. When they're on holiday, they want to shop. They want to go to things. They want to spend. They should be spending money. Is that me?
Yeah. I was just thinking, I enjoy the...
If you're in a city, you want city amenities, and we don't have any of those.
Is it a city?
Technically, yes. And we've also had this thing. Yes, it is a city. It's a very old city.
Regional.
It's one of Australia's oldest cities.
Yeah, it depends. Again, it depends on the holiday that you're coming for. And I think a lot of people come to Tassie with... What's the word? Well, I think there's either two things. You definitely come here and hire a car.
Yeah, well, there's no public transport or anything like that.
No,
there's no other way to
why
get
would you
around
have that? Or you bring your own car and your camper trailer thing on the Spirit, and you come across and you camp. So I think they're the two different types of things. So the people who come and hire a car, I think they're definitely shopping and stuff.
Yep.
But the people who come with their camper trailer, just supplies. Like, they're not really, like the two people that I was watching on Facebook, they didn't go to, like, they didn't go to a nice restaurant or anything. They went to some nice places that are out, but they didn't dress up and go into town, because obviously they've had to park their camper trailer in their car somewhere. That kind of wasn't the focus. It was more the natural stuff. Like, they were wandering around Stanley and Strawn and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
said it was absolutely stunning. Like, and I see that all the time, that we're camping here and there's a photo and it's just like, fuck, like, this is awesome.
But it's also, to my view, I think a lot of people think Tasmania is smaller than it is.
Oh, it's big.
And Tasmania is quite large. So I would say reasonably, to drive from one end to the other,
top to bottom,
like reasonably top to bottom. So like if you were going to go, like, not Devonport to Hobart, which is about maybe 3 hours ish, especially with all the fucking
with the roadwork, who knows?
But like if you start at the top corner, like something like your friend at like Stanley at the nut thing, which is kind of
still on the list,
north west corner ish.
Yeah. And
you wanted to drive all the way down to like Port Arthur, which is
past Hobart,
southeast ish. You'd have to correct me if I'm wrong, but you're talking pretty much 5 hours.
Yeah, and it's not straight.
No.
Like, there's shit to go around because they haven't tunnelled through anything.
No.
So, yeah,
it's probably earlier, but it's probably even longer than that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 6 hours. But anyway, for the benefit of the future, when people from other countries may be watching this, I mean, Tasmania, they say, it's only Australians going, it's tiny and all the rest of it. It's like,
big enough.
It's the size of Singapore. It's the size of Ireland. Like, it's a decent place.
Because, again, I just remembered as well. Remember, I said I came on a road trip. Remember, I said a girlfriend and I don't know what we were thinking. We came and hired
Thelma and Louise,
we
Cadillac.
came and hired a car and stayed, and I can't remember Launceston.
Well, which is
that's what I was just thinking.
Further illustrates my point.
Did we come? Oh no, we stayed. I know where we stayed. We stayed at the Windmill Place near the TRC, but I can't remember what it's called. The one behind it.
Yeah.
Which is like a Tudor-looking thing. We stayed there. But that's it. I can't remember shit. I don't remember.
Did you come in at night?
I don't remember if we went to the gorge.
No, you wouldn't have.
I don't think we did.
I think that was.
I remember where we stayed. We stayed at Hadley's in Hobart.
which used to be one of my favourite hotels.
So, anyway, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, and I was going to say, when you're driving too, so you're on your 6-hour drive from top to bottom, there's nothing on the way.
No.
Like, there's no food. there's no...
Oh, there is a little tiny bit now,
You can pull off
but not
into
really.
towns, but...
To find empty shops.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, there's no services or facilities.
There's no planning. There's no. Well, that's like, again, if it depends on what you want to do, and when you look at these sort of things, you've always got to look at what the what the intention is, and if the intention, I think, with a lot of that sort of stuff is that we say a lot of nice things, but we don't really give a shit. Like for Tourism Tasmania, there's my phone going on.
Bing.
This is not a big podcast. We don't turn things off. You would need to sort of at least try and, I guess, spit it out, Bradley. But again, I guess you'd at least try to encourage people. It's like, shit needs to be open, and for shit to be open, there needs to be enough business to justify it. Like when I went on that tour up the river, as you know, so I went in this town, lovely town. This had me actually bitching and moaning and tweeting it. Tourism Tasmania, so we know that's going to change the world. Dear sir, I'm very disappointed. But anyway, so I get off in this town, nice little riverside town, tie up, walk off, lovely.
Think I'll have a coffee.
No, you won't. It's got a sign on it, closed, reopening February.
And this is at the beginning of January.
This is right at the beginning of
for
January.
A month. Yeah, well that's...
So, yep, gone fishing, see you later. So the coffee shop's not open. There was a pizza shop, not open. There was a takeaway, like pizza shop, broke. Takeaway, broke. General store, opens at 10. And that was it. So you're just walking around just going...
So they're not catering to people like us.
And the point was, well, I'd say this isn't people like us. This is the people you're saying, the category of people getting off the Spirit and all the rest of it, is that there was like an RV area there. Very
that's
nice.
good here.
And there were people in it, but I hope they brought some beans with them.
Yeah.
Because they're not spending any money there. So I, in the end, went back onto my yacht and used the coffee machine on the yacht, or the percolator, and made myself a coffee, and then went, right, okay, guess I'm
leaving.
Guess I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And further up the river I went.
And found... Did you have breakfast that day? Is that when I came and met you?
That might have been when I went to Hillwood, and that was fine. So there was a cafe there. So there's the thing. So you got this... I keep wanting to say, like a seaside town with all of these buildings, all the things, and the road there, and the water, and the whole box and dice. Nothing's fucking open. You go further up to some pontoon, and there's people with a cafe basically in the front room of their house, which was very good, not for the financially challenged, but it was very, very good.
Open.
And it was open and all the rest of it, and it's like, oh, Tassie, you free spirits, bless yous. So in summary, so they run. So so if we get back to what we originally started talking about, how'd the bar go this weekend? They run like the
festivals,
the festivals and things. Just knock the stuffing out of things, and the lack of any sort of vision around tourism or anything of that kind of, like, there just doesn't seem to be anything. There's just nothing going on.
There is tourism campaigns going on. I've seen them.
I'm sure there's campaigns, but it doesn't actually translate to any kind of planning in terms of what. Don't cut me off. In terms of what's open to facilitate the tourists. So the tourists get here, okay. Tasmania, come down for air, or whatever that fucking thing is. They get down here, they get off, they take their deep breath of air, and they look around, and they go, "What? Nothing's fucking open."
Yeah.
You were saying.
I heard on the radio this morning when I was driving into town that Kakadu had the largest number of tourists, I think it was this year, ever. And I'm like, well, that's where they're all going.
Maybe. Bet they all the wokies like that. You're ruining Kakadu. It's like,
whatever. Anywho, so the bar, fine.
Right.
Great.
So no, haven't gotten to it. So the bar Friday didn't even go. So we could see watching. We'd see the till on the phone. We live in the future, and you could see there was just no one there, and chatting to the staff and was like, yeah, fucking no point me going in. I don't need to go in at the best of times because usually it's my social outlet and I'll go and have a few drinks. And even last night I didn't need to be in there. So anyway, so not much happened. So interesting from the point of view, it was kind of all, which we're starting to get, which is good because this is how you build businesses, especially shitty retail ones like that. It was all people, everyone in there I recognised, and it was all kind of the target demographic. So everybody was in their 40s and 50s, which is usually, they spend money and there's no problems. Financially, we had a good night of takings, but the only thing that I thought was noteworthy was towards the end of the night. So I see on the cameras, because I was out the back, and I see on the cameras.
This never ends well.
No, well, this will be a conversation that may get me cancelled at some point, but I don't care. And listen carefully, because this will be things that I thought I felt like doing, but didn't actually do. Bunch of kids in the hallway. They wouldn't have been 18.
Right.
17 or 18, I think. And
we've had a few of these. And
and they were in there and they were fucking around. They were taking photos or something. I don't know why, but they looked like a few of them were standing up next to the glass and the other ones were taking photos. This is further down,
towards the entrance.
And I'm walking down and I see someone had brought a trolley in,
a shopping trolley.
Oh
God!
Right, so that put me in a mood before I even started talking to them.
Too.
I'd have to have a look. I didn't even bother looking at the cameras to see what had happened, but I'm pretty sure it was them. Anyway, so I walked down there and I just said, "Children, could you please leave the building?" And they basically ignore me. Yeah. And then I go, "Oi!" And I was wearing literally the same shirt I'm wearing now. So I'm in jeans, Adidas, and a Hawaiian shirt, right? But I'm still 6 foot tall with a fucking shaven head, and I did six rounds of boxing that day. So I prefer usually to be taken at least. Who's this?
No consequences.
Well, that's what we're getting to. So anyway, so I go, and then they don't really do it. And I went, "I'm talking to you lot. Out. My building. Goodbye. See you later." One girl, this is terrible what I'm about to say, what I did say. One girl marches up to me, doesn't quite get in my face, but with one little step forward, I'd get the right cross in. "You don't look like a security guard." And I said, "I'm not. I'm the owner, and I'm asking you to leave." And she said, "I'm not going anywhere because you're not a security guard."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And I said to her, "Would you like me to get...
Would you like me to be a security guard?"
I said, "Would you like me to get security..." I think we've got a doorman, who is not a security guard.
No, got a
glassy. But he's also 6'4",
an
47,
adult.
And doesn't have any front teeth at the moment. So it's like... so I said, "Would you like me to get security?"
Yeah.
She's going, "You don't have security. You don't have anything." And I don't think she kind of like this. All I'm seeing is a red haze and spots.
This was when
And then I yell out to the guy. So she's got a guy who's the one sort of hanging around clearly, tall, probably weighed about 70, 75, pretty tall, but pretty young.
Dressed in
stovepipe jeans, like a hipster, but he hasn't got his outfit right.
Right.
Like half a hipster.
I was expecting Adidas and caps.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
But
Right.
this girl, she must have been on a pill. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, I couldn't... The privilege, I was blinded. Anyway,
Yes.
But this is white privilege manifest. Anyway, so I said, and this is bad, "Mate, do you want to come and get this and drag it out of my building before I slap it in the face?" Now, I wasn't going to slap the girl.
Yes, but sometimes you have to say
fucking
things
felt like
because
it.
they're not moving.
Yeah, and it's like going, and I went, "I'm not kidding."
Yeah.
And then I think I said something like, which I usually say to when you get entitled women in your face, where you say, "Mate, she's writing checks and I'm going to come and see you to cash them. And they don't even understand that now. And I say, if you don't get it out, if you don't put this fucking tub of shit on a leash and drag it out into the street, I'm going to punch your face in. Now, for the record, I am sober. I'm not going to do any of these things. But what I've seen time and time again is if you're not
aggressive, they ignore you. Or, funnily enough, it continues to escalate. And 2 or 3 of them come up to you and go, well, we're not going anyway. And then, yes, I know you're supposed to call the police. I know you're supposed to do this. And I know you're supposed to do that. Well, they don't come. And all the rest of it. But, look, I'm from drinking pubs in the early 90s. You attempt to sort it out yourself first.
And you'd be professional to begin with. But then 99 times out of 100, they all go, oh, and then I said to her,
so has she moved at this point?
They were starting to.
Yeah.
And I offered her a backhanded piece of advice, which was, do you have a habit of going up to really big random guys and mouthing off to them? Because do you know how that's going to work out for you, sweetheart?
Does.
Yep, she does. And at some point, she's going to have a life-changing physical experience.
I would never, in my right mind, do that to any man.
Of course not. Of course not.
Yes, I'm older, probably 20 years older than her, but
30.
even...
Well, she was, well, I said, she probably, I don't know. They were under 20. I can't tell the difference between 15 and 20 these days.
Yeah. The fact that, I've said this to you before, as no consequences, the fact that women and men both do that now, they get in people's faces. I can be mouthy, but
you're doing it from the point of, Arch Karen.
Yes, I'm more, can I see the manager, please? Or what the fuck do you think you're doing?
But you wouldn't do it at 1 o'clock in the morning.
There's no way I'd get in a physical space of someone.
Yeah, no. But that's the thing. It's like she chins out,
Jesus,
and walks up, and I'm just looking at it, I'm just going,
do you like your teeth? Far out.
But it was just unbelievable. But it was so egregious. I thought, this girl's on a pill. She doesn't know what she's doing. But they hadn't. But they clearly hadn't been. They wouldn't have been let in the bar.
But it's a theme. It's not uncommon.
This has got to be us getting older.
Must be. Am I an old fart?
These kids today, they have no respect.
As I said to you, though, there's no physical consequences. She's never been slapped before. She's never been grabbed by the hair before. Because surely, did she look like she was together? She didn't have a nose that was off the side of her face that's been punched before, did she?
I can see all that. There's a big difference between the ones that
You know they've been punched before and they don't care.
And you have a different conversation with them and you don't tell them that you're going to hit them.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do for the record.
Never do that.
But I was so, again, you just see spots like, what am I arguing with you for? What do you? But that's happened. It hasn't happened for a while. But we had that because our toilets for the bar are out in the hallway. It's a shared, it's a building.
Space.
We own a part of it. It's a strata set of things, and there's a bunch of shops and inside things, and the bar we've put in basically a couple of old shops from yonks ago. So it's in an arcade. And the amount of people who said, these are public toilets. It's like, no, they're not. Well, what would you do? I own them.
Is this the footpath that you've just walked
and
to
they're
get
going,
here? No, it's not.
And the time you have, I don't believe you. And I'm like, I don't care. You don't own these. So I said, well, I can show you the receipt if I really had to. And I just...
Me.
Yeah, but you try not to... Obviously, it doesn't happen as much because for whatever we were doing wrong, I mustn't be doing it anymore. So we're not really engaging with these people because mostly it's just like, no, go away.
Just ignore them. Yeah. Time to leave.
Time to go.
And then just ignore them. Don't turn your back on them, but ignore them.
Yeah.
Because they're all itching for a fight.
They are all itching for... Well, from what I just said, it sounds like I'm itching for a fight too, but I wasn't. It was just like, you be nice. This was after... I'm condensing the conversation down. This was after a few twos and throws, and you just think... And when you see the body language and all the rest of it, it's just... Yeah, and the limbic brain, the reptilian brain in the background is going... Why don't we kill it and eat it? See,
I kind of get that when they ignore me because I've got tits.
Yeah.
I see red. It's like, no... I am the fucking owner, and you will leave.
Yeah.
And then they look to the bartenders because they're both blokes, and they both go, "No, she's the boss."
Yeah, and you should be more afraid of her than you are of us.
But
yeah, I haven't had it for a little while. But we've had some unbelievable things. We've had.
We should have a podcast about.
We could just have
tall stories from the bar.
Yeah, we could tell
Needless to say, we'll chop that off there, but we'll just say that the first couple of weeks when we opened it, we thought we'd made a terrible mistake because we had all sorts of things going on.
Yeah. Well, maybe we will. Maybe if we'll have a topic.
Yeah.
But I have to write them all down and have a think about them. But
Yeah,
yes,
have to do some
it's been
planning
interesting.
for that one.
But I guess what I was going to say, well, to wrap up the bit on what happened on the bar. So yeah, that's normal. No real issues.
We had all our regulars in.
Yeah, so yeah, well, fine. And sadly, I wasn't drinking, so it was even more tedious. Again, you need at least one or two to take the edge off. But what I was going to say beforehand, to put a pin in the bar discussion, is I don't think we've mentioned about why we have a bar.
Excuse me.
Need a cough button.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you press it and it just turns the mic right down while you're barking.
That's clever.
Oh, yeah. It's like you have a dump button.
Our $15 microphone does not have one of those. Anywho.
And minor in electrical engineering, couldn't possibly be able to work one out.
Can afford whatever the fuck we want.
I'll do that, but actually, set one up.
It's telling me to move again. But why we have a bar.
Yes, why we have a bar. And
because it's not our dream to run a bar.
Was it always your dream? It's like, no, it's a fucking nightmare. And it was a fever dream. It was one of Bradley's fever dreams, and now we're paying the price for it.
It's a 5-year project.
Yeah. So anyway, we'd bought, when I was still having the other company, and when we decided we were going to move down here, we sort of was thinking, it was hilarious. We're in Campbelltown, New South Wales, one morning.
Love Campbelltown.
And where we've got a factory unit, and I was doing something, and we ended up in basically, I was sort of thinking, so we're starting to think about we're doing errands, and we're starting to think about, we're talking about the nuts and bolts of moving to Tasmania, and we've got to go, I'm going to need an office or something, aren't I? Like from a thing, it's like,
super cheap auto
and we're
car park.
Yes, well, I'm getting there, and if we were
quicker,
don't start. We've had discussions off air about exactly what this thing is doing right now.
The
privilege.
Oh,
I'm going to yell out, hey, come and get it before I slap it in the next Tuesday.
Put my chin out.
Yes, so we were doing errands, and then we ended up in, and we're discussing that, and then we ended up in like super cheap car park, and I said, I'm going to go and pick up some stuff. Can you have a look, see what's there? Within about 2 minutes, you found these 2 shops in this arcade, and sort of thought, for like $9, it was really, really inexpensive, and it was like, we could hire one. My dodgy things. We could put the office in one side and we could hire the other one out. Because all we needed was a little bit of commercial office space. Put some blinds in the windows, and
because it's all glass.
It was all glass and
very see-through.
Oh yeah. Oh, we should have a ring. Cut forward 3 hours later, I think we're in the Maya car park in Campbelltown, New South Wales, and we'd done the deal.
Oh, I don't remember that bit.
Yeah, it was really quick. So we went that day within about 4 hours, literally going from, do we want to look at this? We'll just have a look. No, to yep. All right, we've got a price. We'll be down.
Because I think we were flying down.
Yeah, but we'd put a deposit on, a holding deposit. The deal was done pretty much. We had a price. All right, we'll come down and we'll have a look. I think only I went down, didn't I? And,
I didn't look. You just sent me photos.
And it was done. So anyway, that secured the premises. Cut forward 1 or 2 pointless tenants, and a bit later. So it was basically by 2019 when we moved here. So we moved here in February 2019.
Me, you came earlier, but full time Feb.
It was just all our shit from Sydney piled up in there.
Storage.
It was just a junk, 100 square metres of junk room.
Junk room. It was all of our house.
Junk room.
Your junk, yes.
Is that the picture for this episode? Because I'll find one with all the video games and crap in there that I had. Anyway, so...
then COVID.
No, not quite.
No?
It was slightly before then. I'd sort of thought, I've always wanted a dive bar. Anyway, we got it into our thick skulls that maybe we'll do this. And then COVID happened, and then we had nothing else to do, so it was kind of a COVID project.
I'd mentioned a small bar before, though. Remember I went and looked at that thing in Picton?
Yeah.
To potentially...
So it had been rattling around our heads like a grenade with a pin taken out for some time. And then COVID definitely gave us the opportunity to, let's build, let's fit this thing out. And the paperwork in Tasmania, to their great thing, was easy. So... we've done 3 developments now in Tasmania. So here's the thing: the it's like
They're bipolar. That's how I describe
it's like
them.
they've had each hemisphere of their brain has been bifurcated. So getting things approved here is quick, simple, efficient, prompt, no problems, ask questions, they keep you updated, great.
As long as you follow the process and fill in all the right forms.
If you can follow a process, I think they find that refreshing.
Pay
and we paid as soon as... Because never get between a Tasmanian bureaucrat and a bag of money. The second you discuss anything with them, that's when the invoice generation starts. And they start generating invoices. And what I'd yell out is, right... It comes in and I'm like, ding, 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 fucking pay that right now. So we would pay everything on receipt. And literally we had phone calls. Oh, thank you very... Like they're used to chasing people for money. And we're not talking about big... Like everything is like $500 here, $500 there.
$100 lots of things.
And, oh, thanks. All right, well... Just thank you, sir, and we've started that process for you, and so you pay straight away. So we had the approval for that bar in 10 days.
Yeah.
And like it ripped through. Anyway, so we did that and we built this thing and all the rest of it, and was kind of supposed to be a genuine hobby. And we
during COVID.
So we opened in August 2020 because we couldn't go anywhere. And
so we fitted it all out and everything while everything was locked down.
Yep.
Which was kind of... Because, again, Bunnings didn't lock down.
No, of course not.
It was good. There was less people in town. We could make as much noise as we wanted because no one was in there, because everyone was at home in lockdown, la-di-la-la-la. And then it opened in September 2020.
The bar opened August 2020. August 18, 2020.
We debate this.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Friends and Family Night. Officially, September 1.
It was definitely during August. We'll put show notes.
Anywho.
I'm not looking it up.
But the other side of council, once you go through that and you're open...
Bastards.
Oh, my God.
So then enforcement, compliance.
Oh, my God.
And we've had so many... So we've got to have why we hate Launceston Council.
Jesus.
Where we had... Certainly at one point we had... So council did the approvals. We had the approvals guys fighting with the compliance guys internally because...
They don't talk to each other, apparently.
Yeah, and they go, this hasn't been approved. So I ring up the approvals guy, who by the end of it we had a pretty good relationship with. And I'm going, do you know who this person is? Can you go down and see her and slap her up the side of the head?
Because but can you literally get up from your desk and walk down 3 desks and go and talk to the person who's now ringing me on the phone? Like, that's what it is. Like, you're in the same building.
Yeah.
You're probably on the same floor. Like, what are you doing?
But it was stuff for, we had, the bullshit you have to do, crowd control and all this. They go, this doesn't meet specifications, and it's like, it was done by your guys. Oh, we don't see it on the occupancy certificate. And you ring the other guy up and say, this person wants you to put that, and he's going, oh, that's ridiculous. And I'm going, they're going to close us if we don't have this. Leave it with me, I'll sort it out. So stuff like that. But it got to the point where she said, we need to see a video of the door opening.
Yeah.
Just to prove that the door's unlocked. And I said, it's like, you need it. And I just want, and
they won't let it go.
They won't let it go.
They're not flexible. They won't admit that, oh, okay, that's fine. I shouldn't have asked that, or we don't need that. No, once they've said something,
they circle the wagons, and then they fight to the bitter end.
Yeah, even for the most ridiculous thing.
So we will definitely have. We might have a guest for this one, because I'm thinking of down the road.
Oh yeah.
To talk about.
We're not alone.
Let's talk Tasmanian council war stories.
Yeah.
But in the end, where we got to, because we ended up having 3 or 4 really bad negative experiences with them, in the end, the only way it seemed to work in each case was, okay, I'm not discussing this with you anymore. You are unreasonable and belligerent. You can, not in so many words, but it did end in this. This is the name of our lawyer that does our local work. You will send all documentation to him. Yeah. He will accept service of documents. We're going to court. And I am not fucking kidding.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous, because again...
And then it all stops.
Yeah.
Because what I say to them is, because I'd said to, again, as a part of this story that I'll tell tell another time, because I think it does warrant a whole thing, because it'd be interesting, because we've got like literal war stories with them. It's like saying, where I've said to them, right, what's your budget? And they're going, what for? I said, litigation. I'm going to sell something substantial.
It's like you're a bully.
I'm going to budget about $300,000-$400,000 to fuck you over. And to it, let's not get it wrong, because they went, and I go, no, that's the right response, guys. I'm going to lose. I'm definitely going to lose.
Yeah, but I'm going to drag you
But I'm going to take
everything.
all of you individually with me.
But it's just unbelievable. So, there you go.
How did we get slightly onto that? Just getting the approvals done as we did it as a part of
for the bar, and then
bar. So that's what I was saying. It was really, really good getting the approvals, but then compliance was unbelievable. And they don't do their jobs properly, and they don't turn up, and we had all this creepy fucking, so and so doesn't like this, so we've spoken to them. I'm going, where's the due process in that? I went to school, like this was peak Tasmania. We both fucked the same cousin, so I thought I'd come and give you a talk. And the Sydney in me is going, this is corruption. This is highly.
It's just a Monday for them.
Yeah, and I'm just going, what do you think I'm going to say, mate? I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And again, this is where it brings out people. Before I finish, it just brings out the peak arsehole in me, which is completely over the top. Where I'm just going, get a lawyer, because I can't punch you in the face. Yeah. That'd be much easier. But get a lawyer, mate.
And that's what I was going to say. They only pick on a certain type of person.
And then they found,
So there's the middle of the road. They only pick on the middle bit. So they don't pick on the people who haven't got any money, because there's a lot of people here living in
squalor.
I was going to say shacks. Not council hasn't signed off the house, or it's not even meant to be there, or whatever else. They leave them alone. Then they don't pick on Errol Stewart they pick on a little bit. Lots of money up here, but in the middle they tend to seem to pick on the people. And
we're right up on the edge of having enough money for them to go, and being still in that band. And
we're also a different type of personality because of who we are and where we're from and blah, 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 where we go, no, fuck
we're not doing that.
No, fuck you, no, send it to my lawyer. Whereas the normal people out here, that's why, again, another neighbour went walkabout, because he was going to, walk off into the forest and never come back, because
that'll have to be a part of our Launceston City Council. Fortunately,
they're bullies. Is that what I'm
government
say?
departments and companies can't sue you for defamation.
Bully, and they wonder why people kill themselves or just set fire to their houses, or it's ridiculous. So
anyway, that might be a story for another time, children.
Anyway,
but
so bar was good.
So yes, in summary, the bar was good. But so anyway, did we actually get to the point? So why we have a bar? So anyway, so it's a big boys' toy. It's a hobby, and it makes. It's profitable.
Continues to make money.
Yeah, because please go broke. Because we've often lamented about the whole idea. This is ego. We're just going, I don't want to be. I said, I'm not the first one to go broke. Like, I'm not going to go broke. I'll just choose to shut it down or flog it off.
As I said, 5-year project.
Yeah, but that's the bit of ego in me going, I'm not being first. But a couple of small bars have finally. One has finally.
Again, we still don't know where the money's coming from.
It doesn't make any sense. It is not obey the laws of thermodynamics. No. I don't see how this system continues to work. And
I'm thinking that it, like that one that has closed down, Phoenix / Backstage Bar, I think they must just run along and then fall off the cliff. Like, they owe so much money that they fall off the cliff. Because surely they're all petering along. Again, they're all... They must be. How are you making your rent?
You're not paying. Well, you're
behind.
You're behind in your rent. You haven't paid electricity for 100 years.
Super.
That's an optional.
It's not optional, Tasmanians, even though they all fucking think it is.
Yeah. So
the amount of stories where people don't get paid super.
Yeah, or get paid for it, and the amount of people this is kind of funny. I've seen online where someone's started dogpiling on us for something I've said, and they go, you're one of the cafe owners. You know how that's a pejorative now.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah. As part of COVID, like all the people were going, the cafe owners complaining about being shut down and all the rest of it. That became a pejorative for about 6 seconds in Australia. Oh, let's listen to the bar and the cafe owners. They're the ones that dictate public health policy.
Right.
So I've actually had that. They're going, well, you're a bar owner. You don't pay your staff anyway. You're like, all you do is rip people off and all the rest of it. So I mean, there's a real It's like, I wish I did, because they deserve it sometimes. But sadly, no, we pay them absolutely properly. And
that's why I think they must not be doing it.
They can't be. It's all got to be. It just doesn't make sense.
That's why I think they go la 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 la. Then finally it goes boom.
Because what you can do, as we've gotten from experience, depending on how many people you can physically fit in a place and how often those people are in there.
Yeah, you and I can add.
We can sit there. Yes, we can work as an accumulator. We can tally something up, and you just sit in there and you go, right. Unless this thing's a front, which it may or may not be, I can't. There is just no way that you're making enough money to do anything.
Yeah,
like it's just not possible.
We've been sitting here because again we do wander around and share the love and have a sticky beak at the new places that open up, and we'll sit there for an hour and have a drink and la la la. This is nice, but then you sit there and you go, you've had 3 people come in here in an hour.
You've made $40 in that hour. And you got 2 staff.
2 staff
that on $30 each an hour.
Well, are meant to be on $30 an hour.
Should be. Even on the weekly. So again, for the benefit of the future and Americans watching this and going, what the fuck? So, correct me if I'm wrong. A bottom end bartender, basically, will make on when we'd be in there on an early, like at 6 o'clock on a Thursday or a Friday night, would make about $27 an hour as a casual rate.
Grade 2.
Yeah, but the difference between grade 1 and 3 is like.
So we don't have bottom of the. We've got grade 2, grade 3, but so grade 3, which is like, I think it's the most, is $28.08.
Yeah. So let's say for argument's sake they're making $28 an hour, right? Then you can add 10% of that for super,
and then after 7 o'clock it goes up, and then yeah.
So let's say 28. So there right now, you walk into a bar in Australia at like late afternoon, early evening.
After work drinks, they're making $30 an hour.
They're making, including super, about $31, $32 an hour.
Yeah.
So 2 of them, so they've taken $40. 2 people
You're
are
behind.
in there are $60. So they've taken $40 over the bar. Now out of that you can take, so 2/3 of that's the overhead.
Yeah.
Certainly a third of it is cost of goods sold. So that $40 straight away you're really talking about $27 because you sold $13 worth of drinks or stock to do it. Yeah, and you're going, Jesus, the what money's so like. You hope they have a couple of really big hours, but then you look at the building can only physically fit like it's a small bar.
Bums on seats.
You can only fit sort of 30 bums on seats, and at most people drink. At the absolute most, people will drink 2 drinks
to start, and then continue with a 1.
Maybe.
If they're drinking.
Yeah, if they're drinkers.
Yeah.
Because people think they're drinking more, but they're really not.
No.
They're really not. And contrary to popular belief, just about every time everyone stops drinking at about 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
They're full. Yeah. And they don't realise it.
Yeah.
And that's why so often you get people going, oh, why are you shutting? There's still 50 people. And it's like, haven't sold a drink in half an hour.
Yeah.
Because you've all sat down with your last drink, you don't realise it, and you're all winding down.
Physically.
And you don't realise it. But
here, have a shot, we're closing.
Pretty much.
Pick one.
But
anyway.
So that's the thing of, so there's so many, and what, 2 more small bars have opened in Launceston literally in the last week or 2. The vegan bar, we wish them all the best.
It's a restaurant and bar, I think.
And that Tatler Lane thing, which is also kind of restaurant and bar.
Cafe
bar thing. So we'll have to go and have a look. But I think the vegan thing is more bar than it is restaurant.
Right. Oh, but it's got cafe tables. Like it looks like a restaurant.
Yeah, I think somebody's been to a French.
Yeah, it looks like a bistro.
Cafe sort of thing, which is actually more a bar. You know, the ones out in the middle of, cafe
countryside.
Yeah, in the countryside, out of the boonies a little bit, and it's Cafe Pierre. But you go in there and it's like, this is a dive bar.
Yeah.
So,
and then the other one is definitely more daytime.
Yeah.
Fit out looks excellent though.
Yeah, I've spent some money on it, so
good money.
fucking good luck, guys. I hope it works for you.
But as I said, I'm not sure. Okay, well, that's another thing here is that people open multiple locations, so they've still got the other one on the other street. So I don't understand what they're doing.
Again,
maybe they own them, but I don't think they do.
It's the same thing. It's like where we come back to there's no right. So it's a closed system. There's no extra people coming in. There's no tourists and things for the reasons we've already laid out.
And people aren't moving here really because you can't get a house.
Yeah. So again, a story for another time, children. But so basically, right, there's the same size market and we're servicing that market. So let's open 2 places and still service exactly the same size market. So let's double our costs at best and put more capital into it and then wonder, I
don't get it.
We don't understand. But anyway, like with that little one, we'll have to go and have a seat, but I just can't see how you can physically get enough people in there to make it worth your money, unless of course they're going to open essentially 24 hours.
Which one? The vegan one or the other one?
Yeah, because it seems too small.
I'm not vegan, so that's
yeah, sure, but you can buy vegan wine, which is wine that hasn't been fined with egg whites.
Actually, one of our wines is vegan.
Yeah, accidentally.
Haven't seen them in a while. Remember?
Yeah, they're kind
sugar
of
tits.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sugar tits. So.
Yeah, all right. I'll go and have a glass of wine.
Yeah, go and have a.
Because I don't want vegan food. I'd like meat, thanks.
But there's like the other one. Again, I don't think we're doing anything wrong by mentioning like the Tenebrous one, which opened up basically across the road from this
Tatler.
And this new other one.
Oh, and the vegan. That's right. Yeah, they're all on the corner.
It's too small.
Yeah.
Like
again,
I can't.
Can you do maths? Did you do numbers before you opened?
Well, in their defence, we didn't, but we didn't have to. Like, we don't.
But in their defence, they've got chairs in the laneway now, stools and tables
outside on that other side.
Outside in the filthy laneway.
Well, they'd have to have because
I saw a picture
inside
of that the other day.
you couldn't physically fit more than 20 people.
There's maybe 3 benches with 4 seats at each, so maybe another 12 seats. But again, you're out in the I don't know what young people like these days. I'm an old fart, but you're sitting in a laneway that most people pee and spew in.
Yeah, it's revolting.
So it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, but we wish them all the best.
Yeah,
maybe they're scrubbing it out.
Works.
And they're doing, and I hope
it works
with
because
all
they
these
put money into it.
We sound like we're being we sound like we are not. We wish them all the best. We hope it. We welcome the competition. We really don't care. Like hope it because honestly, when it all boils down to it, we don't have any skin in the game.
No.
We out of our bar, I get somewhere to go and be drunk and obnoxious. I get to we get a car out of it. We get rent out. You know, it's a tenant, but it's not. So
95% of our people are good.
Yeah.
Our people.
Yeah. And it's fine. And it's just unfortunately it is still a bit of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing,
and at the very least I've got to go where I don't have to, but I do go in there just to make sure the tone remains correct.
Well, that was so this morning, again, driving into town, I went for a lovely walk along the foreshore with the dog early, 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I like that time. But that Billy's Takeaway, every time I drive past it, remember the takeaway?
Yeah, that didn't work out.
Yeah, he spent, he had proper signage and redid all the front.
It's in a shit spot. To me, I just look at it and go, where do you park?
He got, 6 months, did it last? 6 or 12 months? But again, just
so anyone in the future,
has put so much money into that, and it's closed.
I was going to say, anyone in the future watching this and all the rest of it is it's terrible. I can't think it'd be awful to take that sort of shot and miss. Look, well done for having the stones to try it. Yeah, but realistically, I'm not picking on them personally where I go, what were you thinking though? I don't...
no, it's always, from me, it's always I don't understand. Can you explain it to me?
But that being said, there's been plenty of retail, we don't know shit about retail.
No.
And there's been plenty of retail things that are going, that makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever, and look at them raking in the cash. Well, again, hat is off, well done. Fill your boots, good on you. You know something that I don't. But with bars, I know a little bit about bars now. And because we both knew a little bit of, so when I was at university the first time round, I worked in a 500-seat bar restaurant, bloodbath hellhole for
I'm gonna have to stop this soon. I need to go.
Yeah, a year or so. And you worked in some fairly interesting bars for a little while,
longer than you.
Yeah. So we weren't coming to it completely
cold
and naive. But what I will say for the maths, so here's the thing. So for any budding bar owners, here's the maths. And again, please correct me on air if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But my view is for 50 people, which is the maximum amount of people we have in our bar. So if you've got 50 people coming in fresh, so you've got a pretty, if you're having good turnover on the night and you've got basically a full bar of 50 people, you will take over the bar $1,000 an hour. That's basically what 50, the best part of 40 or 50 people, where not 40 or 50 people that have already been there for 3 hours, but where you've got people coming in and going like at about 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Yep,
You've got a fairly fresh, you've got 3 or 4 deep at the bar.
Give or take 20%, yeah.
Yep. You're making basically $1,000 an hour. So there you go. So that's what you can do your maths on to work out based on how many people you can get in there. If you're serving them fairly quickly.
Yeah, you've got competent bar staff.
Yep. You're gonna turn over about $1,000 an hour, and of that $1,000, a third of it is cost of goods sold.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to take out your rent,
overheads,
staff, and by far the staff cost you more than rent. Your staff, all your overheads,
etc.,
utilities, all those things, and then whatever's left over, that's what you're talking about. And usually it's a third.
Yep.
Third of cost of goods sold, third of the overhead, a third's profit.
Yes. So feel free, if you'd like to ask any questions, leave a comment or send us an email. Do we have an email?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
DocDaydrinking@gmail.com.
There you go.
But I don't know if it's published anyway. So anyway, that's it. So in summary, a rambling podcast of very little. So I'll have to go through and try and work out what on earth did
unsolicited and unpopular opinions.
Yes.
That's going to be my tagline, I think.
Me allegedly threatening someone in the hallway, but I did not. I was asking questions. I wasn't threatening anyone. But most of my questions were like, why am I here? But more importantly, why are you here?
Again, which is what I say all the fucking time. Have you got nothing better to do with your time? Like, Jesus.
And the answer to that is no, they don't. But it's just like...
You're never going to change then. You're going to live this life. Fuck. Anyway, I need to go. Goodbye.
All right, Sunday. I'm going to go and have a drink soon. It's going to be... This is my normal day. Yes, I haven't eaten anything yet either.
Okay.
So you've hurt everybody's ears by clapping into the microphone, and then you've
I don't give a shit. Have I not mentioned this?
We will.
I am not a podcaster.
No, you're a content creator.
Fuck you. I am not. No.
Anyway, off you go, my children. Watch out for wolves.